Some of dangerous place where people have seen some of the paranormal activities. House of Ghosts. Let begin out countdown. BORGVATTNET, the haunted vicarage, Sweden. BORGVATTNET is a small village in Jämtland County, northern Sweden. It's renowned for having one of the most haunted houses in Sweden, the old vicarage, which was built in 1876. The first ghost ever documented at the vicarage came in 1927, when the chaplain Nils Hedlund resided. He reported many strange happenings, including one particular encounter with something paranormal. He was on his way up to the attic to gather his laundry when he witnessed his laundry being torn down from the line by an unseen force. Rudolf Tangen, a priest who lived at the vicarage during the 1930s, saw an old woman dressed in gray appear in a room. He followed her as she walked away, but she vanished in front of his eyes. In the 1940s, Tangen's successor, Otto Lindgren, and his wife said they had several paranormal experiences, including unexplained sounds and moving objects. Old Changi Hospital, Changi, Singapore. The Old Changi Hospital is a former hospital in Changi, Singapore. It was built back in 1935 as part of the Old Changi military base. During the occupation of the Japanese, the compound was used by the notorious Kempeitai, the Japanese secret police, as a prison and torture camp. After the end of World War II, the building was again a hospital, and remained so until 1997, when it was replaced by the Changi General Hospital. It has stood derelict and decaying ever since. The building is now haunted by its past, with Japanese soldiers, people that were executed, and the patients that died here. Apparitions of an old man has been seen walking down the corridors, and a woman has been seen walking through the rooms. Mukesh Mills. Mukesh Hill, Kolaba, Mumbai, a deserted textile mill built in 1870. After a fire accident, it was closed forever. Later it started to be used as a shooting zone. Remember Mr. Bachchan with gorgeous Kimi Katkar in film Hum, dancing in a factory, the song Jumma Chummadada. This is more than enough. You can see the place now. No, Kimi Katkar was not the victim by ghost. But at the same place in a shooting of a TV serial, an actress became possessed by ghost and started talking in devil-like masculine voice. The ghost in the actress ordered the shooting crew to leave the place immediately. This incident terrified all there as much they stopped their work and left the place immediately. Many directors there refused to work after evening. Actors also feel uncomfortable to work in the haunted place. They believe this place filled with evil forces. They always keep losing their belongings in time of shooting there. Screaming Tunnel, Niagara Falls, Ontario. This one is for those brave hearts boasting hard of their fearless spirits. This is located beneath the railway track that connects Niagara Falls to Toronto and New York. As per a legend, about a century ago there was a farmhouse located just near the south entrance of this tunnel. One night the farmhouse caught fire and a young girl doused in flames screaming for help, running wild. Nobody knows the story how the farmhouse caught fire. She ran through the tunnel if in case she could get some help, but alas, she was burned completely and collapsed. So from that day onwards, whoever tries lighting a match in the tunnel, the spirit comes out screaming and haunting the person till dead. Highgate Cemetery, North London, England. This is just like watching a horror flick of Alfred Hitchcock in reality. By the time dusk settles down, the ultimate horror environment starts to descend on the panorama. Highgate Cemetery is one ideal place for ghost hunters. Headless statues, creaky pathways, unmanaged grass pavements, and lest we forget the typical hooting of owls is a common feature to be found in this place. Highgate Cemetery also scores the top slot in being the haunted places in United Kingdom. Still, one cannot ignore the Gothic architecture, beautiful serene ambience, and lest we forget the shivery silence which overrules the entire arena. GP Block. GP Block in Meerut is also very notoriously known for all the paranormal activity it beholds. Despite being a popular zone, there have been reportedly a lot of strange sightings. For instance, people who pass this place claim to have seen 4 males sitting together and enjoying an alcoholic beverage by the light of a single candle. At first, this was not considered spooky, for it could just be 4 friends having a good time, but once it was established that it was indeed 4 ghosts, people in and around the area became increasingly interested. In addition, some claim to also witness a young girl coming out of the house in what many people believe to be a red dress. POVEGLIA Island, Italy. In the Venice lagoon between Venice and Lido, sits the small island of POVEGLIA. Inhabited since 421, when mainlanders fled to seek refuge from the invaders, POVEGLIA's population began to dwindle centuries later, and by the 14th century the island was completely abandoned. As with many small islands in Europe during the bubonic plague outbreak in the 14th century, the island became a quarantine colony. Many Venetians were sent here to die, their dead infected bodies being burned on giant pyres. This was also the case in 1630, when the Black Death swept through Venice. The ghosts of the patients and victims of disease are said to haunt the island and its buildings. Voices and screams are often heard, with EVPs often captured. Dark fleeting shadows are often witnessed, and possessions have been reported. Island of the Dolls, Xochimilco, Mexico. Located on Lake Texulo in Xochimilco, NR, Mexico City, the island La Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. In the 1950s, a man named Julian Santon Barrera moved to the island. Julian was unaware of the dark history of the area when he moved there to become a recluse. Legend says that 3 young girls were playing near the water in the 1920s, when one of the girls fell in and drowned in the murky waters. Locals believe that ever since her death, the young girl's spirit has been unable to leave the island. It soon grew quite a reputation as a haunted place, and locals wouldn't go near it at night for fear of what they may see. Julian claimed that as soon as he moved on the island, a little girl began speaking to him. The girl told Julian how she had died, and that she was trapped on the island. He began to get the dolls for this little girl, often selling off fruit and vegetables that he had grown on the island, so that he could buy old dolls for her to play with. Bhangarh Fort, Ajabgarh, Alwar, Rajasthan. The ghost town of Bhangarh is one of the scariest, spookiest places you could possibly imagine, not to mention, one of the most haunted places in India. Situated near a popular forest, this town is now slowly luring visitors from around the area and country, for all the wrong reasons. It should be noted that if you decide to visit this place after the sun has gone down, you won't be allowed to. In fact, there is a strict warning about how dangerous this place becomes after sunset. The story which this town is well known for tells the tale of a magician who fell in love with the local princess of the area even though their match was impossible. Being quite the master of dark magic, he decided to cast a spell on her to make her surrender to him. However, the princess learned of his plans and found a way to kill him. Before his death, however, the magician cast a dark spell on the palace which caused its doom. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Kentucky, United States. Waverly Hills was originally a 2-story wooden building that was opened in 1910, however the building you see today was constructed in 1926. It is a hospital. And 2 stories is famous. 1. Room 502. Another creepy legend involves a pregnant nurse who allegedly committed suicide in room 502. Some tales claim a doctor impregnated the nurse and then wanted nothing to do with her. Devastated, the woman hanged herself from an exposed pipe or light fixture. 2. The Death Tunnel. An underground tunnel leads Waverly's main entrance to the bottom of a steep hill some 500 feet, or 150 meters. Staff used the tunnel to receive supplies in the winter when the hill was both inconvenient and difficult for suppliers to ascend. However, it's likely that doctors also used the tunnel to get rid of bodies. One legend claims that tuberculosis claimed 1 patient per hour during the height of the epidemic and that doctors used the tunnel to remove the dead without upsetting the living.